In 2026, it's Friday night and Warren's paycheck hits his account. He opens his investing app like he's doing something responsible. 2 taps later, a little pile of money is sitting in a dividend fund. The chart wiggles up and Warren feels proud for exactly 8 seconds. Then he opens his credit card app and the balance barely moved again. Interest ate most of the payment, like it does every month. An HR email flashes on his phone about his 401 clan match and open enrollment. Warren swipes it away because it feels confusing and annoying. Right on cue, his car makes that grinding sound that turns your stomach cold. In that moment, his entire plan becomes a prayer. Please don't break today. This is how a lot of people invest in 2026. Not with a plan, but with leftovers and hope. Here's the problem nobody wants to admit. Your investment order is probably wrong. Most beginners start with the fun part and skip the parts that keep the fun safe. They ask, what's the best investment right now? The real question is meaner and more useful. What should my next dollar do first? Because if your foundation is weak, your portfolio becomes a bucket with holes. High interest debt is a hole that drinks your future. Surprise bills are a hole that forces you to sell at the worst time. Fees and late payments are holes that tax you for being human. You can invest for years and still be one emergency away from wiping it out. The Federal Reserve measures this with a simple stress test, a $400 surprise expense. In the latest Shed data, only about 2/3 of adults say they could cover it with cash or its equivalent. So millions are buying ETFs while living one car repair away from panic. Meet Warren. Early 30 seconds. Normal job, no trust fund, no miracle win. He doesn't want to wait until old age to breathe. He wants options in 10 years, not slogans. He hears retire on dividends and his brain lights up. Dividends feel like paychecks that show up while you sleep. But Warren is starting from zero outside his retirement plan. So he doesn't need a hot pick, he needs a sequence. He needs his next dollar to do the right job first. Dividends aren't magic money falling from the sky. They are cash a company chooses to pay out. When you reinvest dividends, they buy more shares. More shares can pay more dividends later. That loop is compound income, and it's real. The trap is psychological. The first years look insulting. Year 1 dividends might buy a pizza. Year 2 dividends might buy 2 pizzas. Most people quit right there because it feels slow. But compounding is quiet at the start and loud later. Now let's turn the dream into math, not hype. If you wanted $1,000 a month in dividend income, that's $12,000 a year. At a 4% yield scenario, that points to roughly $300,000 invested. If you wanted $3,000 a month, that's $36,000 a year. And the same math points to roughly $900,000. Those numbers are not promises, they are division. And yields move, dividends can be cut, and taxes change what you keep. Before Warren chases dividends, he handles 3 basics. First, he can cover day-to-day expenses without relying on new debt. Second, he is making at least minimum payments on every debt so nothing is exploding. Third, he builds an emergency fund, not a someday fund, a real pile of boring cash. He starts with a starter buffer around $750 so small chaos stops becoming credit card debt. Then he pushes to 1 month of essentials. After that, he aims for 3 to 6 months of expenses. If his income is unstable, he leans closer to 6 to 12 months. In 2026, he keeps that emergency money in a high-yield savings account for safety and access. The point is to survive surprises without selling investments. Once those basics exist, investing stops being fragile. Next, Warren takes the easiest win most people ignore, the employer match. If your job matches part of your 401, skipping it is refusing free money. In 2026, The IRS says the 401 employee deferral limit is $24,500 before catch-ups. The IRA contribution limit is $7,500 in 2026 before catch-ups. Warren doesn't need to max everything today. He just needs to capture the match and build consistency. Then he chooses actual investments inside the account, because contributions alone don't invest themselves. For beginners, a low-cost diversified fund or a target date fund can keep you from overthinking. Now comes the choice most people dodge: debt versus investing. Warren uses a simple rule to stay sane. If a debt's rate is in the high single digits or higher, he attacks it hard. Paying off high-interest debt is like earning that rate with zero market risk. If the rate is low, he can often pay minimums while investing at the same time. This isn't a guarantee. It's a way to avoid guaranteed losses to interest. Now Warren builds the dividend machine like a team with 5 jobs. Block A is the foundation: dividend growth and quality. Think a SCHD-style dividend growth ETF, not the highest yield on the screen. The job is rising payouts over time and fewer landmines. Block B is diversification: real estate income. Think a V&Q-style REIT index fund that pays rent-like cash flows. Real estate can move differently than regular stocks, but REITs can be rate sensitive, so Warren respects the risk. Block C is the accelerator: higher yield. Think a super dividend style fund used carefully and sized small. This is rocket fuel, not breakfast. High yield can drop right when you're counting on it. So Warren keeps the accelerator controlled, not dominant. Block D is stability: dividend aristocrats and long dividend histories. Think a Noble style approach focused on long dividend growth streaks. The yield may be lower, but the durability can be higher. Block E is a wild card, a small thematic dividend slice. It could be an ESG dividend tilt or a transition theme, kept small on purpose. This is where Warren scratches the itch to experiment without wrecking the engine. Put the 5 blocks together and you avoid one-note investing. In a scenario, a blended yield might land around 3 to 5% depending on the market. Warren checks current yields, fees, and holdings in 2026 because nothing stays the same. Here's the twist: the biggest accelerator isn't the funds, it's Warren's behavior. He doesn't treat a raise like permission to upgrade his life. He treats a raise like fuel for the machine. Every bonus becomes a bigger automatic contribution. He sets contributions to run the day after payday every time. That one move removes emotions from the process. Warren also looks for one small side income stream. 5 hours a week can be the difference between dreaming and building. In a scenario, that extra cash can move him from $500 a month to $1,000 a month invested. Consistency is what compounding rewards, not perfect timing. In the early years, Warren reinvests dividends automatically. He wants more shares, not more temptation. Later, he may hold dividend cash briefly to buy during dips. That is a form of timing, and timing can backfire. So, he uses rules, not feelings. He buys on schedule even if the headlines are screaming. Now the part most videos hide: behind hype. Dividends are not guaranteed and companies can cut them. High yield funds are often the first to disappoint in rough markets. Real estate funds can swing when rates change. Dividend taxes exist, and the IRS explains the difference between ordinary and qualified dividends. Some payouts, like many REIT distributions, may be taxed differently than qualified dividends. Account choice matters, because taxes can quietly slow the machine. And if you're watching from Europe, some US ETFs may be blocked for retail investors due to PRIP's KID rules. In that case, you look for UCITS equivalents your broker allows, and you read the documents. None of these risks mean don't start, they mean don't lie to yourself. 10 years from now, Warren has one of two things. He has a dividend machine that buys him freedom in pieces, or he has 10 years of screenshots and excuses. The winners aren't the people who find a secret stock. They're the people who keep answering one boring question. What should this next dollar do first? This is education, not personal financial advice. So check current rules and numbers in 2026 before acting. But fix the order, build the machine, and you finally stop starting over.